Are you thinking about selling your house in Connecticut but not sure where to start? What should you do for repairs? Where should you price it? Should you use an agent or should you go for sale by owner? In this video, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know step by step. So let's dive in. My name is Jason Boyce. I'm a local real estate agent here in Central and Eastern Connecticut, and I have a passion for fitness, real estate, and my dog, Holly. On this channel, we will cover everything you need to know about upsizing or downsizing in Connecticut. Thanks for tuning in. So the first thing you're going to want to know is what's going on in the market. Is it a seller's market? Is it a buyer's market? Right here in Connecticut, currently at the end of March 2025, it's a seller's market, an extreme seller's market, and we are starting to heat up to get into the spring market. Buyer demand is picking up big time, and we're starting to see stuff go for way over list price. Take a look at these charts. As you can see here, prices have gone up over the past 3 years, and in the past year, prices are up 9.3% year to date. And you can see here, homes are selling currently on average 2.7% above list price. So if you're looking to buy a house or sell a house now, know that on average they're going for about 2.7% above list price. But timing is also important because right now we are starting to see the market ramp up, and I bet you if we look at next month data, it's going to be closer to 4% above list price. So in the spring market, things are starting to tick up, and in recent history, things have been going for more above list price in these spring months and early summer than in the fall and the winter. Now we'll get into other details in a minute, but just wanted to give you that quick market update so you know what the current market is, so you know what I'm talking about when I'm going through current data. One other thing you'll need to know when selling your house in Connecticut is an attorney state. Throughout the country, you'll have either attorney or title states. Connecticut is an attorney state, so you're going to use an attorney for all your real estate closing needs for title, closing, conveyance, etc. Now, let's jump into one of the hottest topics, and one of the questions everyone asks is, should I use an agent or should I sell for sale by owner? Now, let's go into the pros and cons. On the pro side of doing for sale by owner, you pay no commissions. You get to save on the commission, and depending on the agent you use, what's negotiated, you could be saving anywhere from 2.5% to 6%. Now let's look at the cons of for sale by owner. It's harder to price. Typically, the everyday person doesn't know the market or have access to all the data that a real estate agent does. There are marketing limitations. Agents have access to the MLS, which is the single most greatest platform for marketing a piece of property. It goes to all the internet websites, Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, etc., but also goes to all the other agents that are out there with buyers that are looking. There are also legal risks to doing for sale by owner. Agents, or especially good agents that are in the business for a while and are doing a lot of deals, know the contracts, the legal obligations, and the legal steps in the process. An owner who's only doing it once or twice in their lifetime doesn't know all the ins and outs and could get themselves into legal trouble that could be very costly. And when it comes to negotiations, a good agent and a good negotiating agent is adept at skillful negotiation to maximize your price and knowing when to turn away other requests that buyers have because you have other options. Whereas if you're not doing it on a day-to-day basis, if you're not in the market, it's just something you don't know until you don't know. And deal support is a huge aspect. On average, close to 15% of deals that go under contract once fall out of contract. And if that agent knows how to keep that deal together, because assuming you selected the best offer, if there were multiples, it's in your best option generally to keep that deal alive. And there's a lot of creative ways to solve problems. And if you're not doing it regularly, you just might not know. And then let's just look at the data. In 2024, last year, for sale by owners had a median sale price of $380,000, whereas homes listed with an agent had a median sale price of $435,000. That's a $55,000 difference. Additionally, for sale by owner transactions, we're only 6% of all the real estate actions in the entire country. And that's actually the lowest on record. 2023 was the previous lowest year when there was actually 7%. So we're actually seeing a trend down in people doing for sale by owner and more people choosing to use an agent. And I'm biased, but personally, I think more and more people are choosing to use an agent because they realize that an agent provides that pricing expertise as to exactly where to price your property to get you the most amount of exposure and at the end of the day, the highest price possible. They also have the marketing power to get it in front of more and more eyeballs. At the end of the day, your house is a competition. And the more people that see it and it looks good to them that want to come see it in person, the more offers you're going to get. And the more offers you get, the best price you're going to get. And then the negotiation skills. A well-versed and good negotiating agent can get you an extra few percent. You'd be surprised when negotiating, especially using leverage. And then also local knowledge, guidance through the complex contract issues or any negotiation issues that comes up with inspections, financing, etc. Now, if you are deciding to use an agent, let's cover some quick tips to make sure you find the right agent for you. First off, experience matters. You'd be surprised how many agents out there only do 1 or 2 deals a year. You're going to want an agent that's doing at minimum 20 deals a year. Just that way you know that they're well versed in all the different things that can come up and have solutions and how to solve them. So you want to make sure they have a proven track record in the Connecticut market. Also, you're going to want to ask what their marketing strategy is. You want to make sure they're going to list it on more places than just Zillow or even just the MLS. Are they doing postcards? Are they doing video marketing? Are they doing social media marketing? Are they doing any type of mailings? Do they have any type of digital footprint? These are all things you're going to want to find out because, again, the more amount of eyeballs you get your property in front of, the better the odds of you getting more viewers, more offers, and more money. Also, communication. Are they responsive? Are they intelligent? Do they know about the market? Are they well versed in the comps? Are they able to go through comps with you and tell you why a certain pricing strategy should work versus another? And then lastly, client testimonials. See if they have a digital footprint. Hopefully they have a Google business page. Look at their Google business page. What are other people saying about them? What are third-party people saying about them? And also ask them if they could provide references. Call those references. You're going to be better off getting third-party information about what it's like to work with that person to get an idea of what you're going to experience when you work with them. All right, now we're ready to list your house. So basically, step-by-step process is you're going to get the house prepped. You're going to price it right by looking at comparable sales and figuring out where in the marketplace it should fall. You're going to market it like a pro. You're going to have showings, and then you're going to have offers, and then you're going to negotiate, and then you're going to go through the closing process here in Connecticut. Now I'm going to touch on each one a little bit. Now, prepping your home. Number one, you're going to do a thorough deep cleaning. You're going to clean all the counters. You're going to have specific things there to make it look homey, but then you're going to have everything else cleaned off so that it looks spacious, clean, neat, and put together. And when people see, smell, and feel like they're in a clean, neat home, they automatically think the entire house is well taken care of, and their mind does not wander into all the different things that could be wrong with it. So that's step one. Step two, you're going to fix anything that needs to be repaired. If there's a leaky pipe, if there's a hole in the wall, if there's a piece of missing trim, just fix it, because then people start to wonder, well, what else is wrong that I'm not seeing? Outside of that, it is usually not worth spending additional money to do upgrades. Typically, when you talk to appraisers, you don't necessarily get the amount of money back that you spent. And even if you did, why would you spend 30 grand to get 30 grand? It's just going to add time aggravation. If you're obviously going to make a return on it, different story. And that's what you usually get for repairs. But new improvements, typically not worth making. So what we generally do with our clients is we take what's there, we repair what's broken, and then we make what's there look as clean, neat, and good as possible. Then you're going to price it right. The amount of clients that I work with that say, not selling my house for anything less than this, I understand that people have a dollar amount in their mind, but at the end of the day, the marketplace is a competition, and the product that you're putting out there, buyers are going to compare to the other products that are out there. And if they can go buy something equal or better at a lower price, they're going to. So you have to price it according to what is on the market. So you have to look at what's sold in the past 6 months that's a similar type of home, similar style, similar size, and condition. And you're going to have to make adjustments to figure out where in the marketplace I fall. This is the number one most important thing when it comes to selling your house. Because if you price it way too high and you get no showings and no offers and you have to price cut, people start to look at, this thing's been on the market for 70 days. What's wrong with it? And then they don't even go see it. And it could be beautiful, but it was just overpriced to begin with, so no one went to look at it. And then if somebody does make an offer in those situations, they go, oh, that thing's been on the market for 70 days. I wonder if they'll take this, and they lowball. Versus if you price it right and you sell it very quickly, people have FOMO and they have fear of missing out. And if there's a bunch of people interested and there's multiple offers, people will generally talk themselves into going higher. So the biggest mistake that I see is people overpricing their house. Then you're going to market it like a pro. You're going to have professional photos, professional video. You can have a 3D tour where you can look online and actually walk through the house. You're going to have a really great marketing video, floor plans so people can see the layout of the house. And they're all going to be done by a professional so they don't look amateurish. They're high quality, high digital resolution images in the right lighting so that everything looks great. Because keep in mind, in today's day and age, your first showing is online. People have to look at the pictures, the video, everything online and go, that's a house I want to see. And if you don't make it past that first filter, they're not going to see your house. And if they don't see your house, they're not going to make an offer. So you have to market like a pro. And then you have to make sure you do better than just putting it on Zillow, right? The MLS, that's another step, yes, so it goes to everywhere else. But then social media, an actual footprint of, are you sending out mailers, right? How many eyeballs are you getting it in front of? So the next step is showings and negotiations. So your agent should have worked with you to get your house ready for all the pictures, video, and all that stuff. And now we're gonna keep the house that way for all the showings. I know it's a pain in the butt, but these are where it really, really matters. Yes, the online ones get them in the door, but now that they're in the door, they want to feel like they want to live there. So the house is going to be clean, neat, all that stuff we did for pictures. And then once we start getting offers, we want to be able to negotiate. And every offer is going to be different. There's not a blanket, but I can say pricing the house right so that you get multiple offers gives you leverage. When you have more than one person wanting your house, you have a lot of leverage that you can then use. Case in point, we've had multiple offers and some people have appraisal gap coverage, some don't. We can always go back to people and say, hey, we like your price, but will you match this person's appraisal gap coverage? Or we like your terms, but will you match this price? And you can use the leverage of multiple offers to try to get the best price and the best terms. If you don't have multiple offers, you don't really have any leverage. And then once you select an offer, then there's negotiating through any inspections, appraisal, that type of stuff. And then the closing process in Connecticut, your attorney will handle. They'll do the buyer's attorney will do the title search. They'll handle all the title stuff. Your attorney will handle conveyance. And then they'll handle any adjustments. So any prepaid things that you have prepaid for will come back to you at closing. And then anything escrow that the buyer needs to do, they will do as well. So the attorney will handle all the pricing adjustments so that the funds are split properly as of the date of closing. Now for the bonus tip section, here are a number of questions that I get asked all the time that you'll probably want to know. Should you do a pre-listing home inspection? I'm going to say that's market dependent. In today's seller's market, not necessary. A lot of people are buying houses as is or minimal inspections. And as long as we have the house clean and looking good, not worth the expense. When is the best time to sell in Connecticut? Well, if you look at this chart, you'll see that there's always a peak and valley, and it's very consistent. Typically that peak is going to be in June or July. Now that's sale date, so that means they listed it in either May or June. So the ideal time to list is either April through July for a number of reasons. Number one, nicer weather. You hit the spring market, the weather's starting to get nice. It's no longer winter. People start thinking housing. Number two, people are going to generally want to be under contract on a house by the end of July so that they can be in by the end of August, so they're in for the new school year. A lot of people are moving because of kids and school systems, and they want to be in before the end of the school year. So if you can do it, that is the best time of year to sell, is listing your house in either May or June. Outside of that, not everyone can list within those 2 months. Life happens, and sometimes people need to sell and move, and people pass away, and houses, and it's just life. You'll sell your house no matter what, but if you have the perfect ability to time the market, the data says, right, the data doesn't lie, listing it in May and June will yield you the highest sale price, all other things being equal. And if you're familiar with the new real estate law, one of the questions I got asked is, should I offer seller concessions? If you're not familiar with the new real estate law, basically there was a NAR lawsuit and a law change back in August separating real estate commissions. So no longer is the seller required to pay real estate commissions to both the sell side and the buy side. They can choose to, but they're not required to. So the only person that a seller is required to pay commissions to is a listing agent if they sign a listing agreement with them for an agreed upon commission. Buyers can make a request, but it's up to the seller at the end of the day. So typically what I do with my clients is we tell people to submit the offers with whatever they're requesting, and they will be looked at and evaluated accordingly with a net to seller. So we'll look at what the sale price is minus any requested commissions. What's the net to seller? Because it can vary greatly. If you have a buyer offering to pay the entire commission and then one asking for 3%, right? The net to seller is going to vary. So we're going to calculate that for our clients so that they can help pick the best option for them. And then remember that leverage piece. If you have multiple offers, you can always go back to people and say, hey, I like your price, but we have someone else offering 1% or 2% or nothing. Would you be willing to match that, right? So that's the Cliff Notes version of how to sell your house in Connecticut. I hope you found that helpful. If you're thinking about selling, you have questions or comments, please send them below or reach out to me. I'm very responsive. I can answer any questions you might have. If you want to meet for a personalized strategy on selling your house in Connecticut, we do that all the time for clients. Just reach out and let me know. And if you did find this useful, please like it, please subscribe, and share this to anyone else who you think would find this information helpful. Thank you for tuning in.